Previously on Make Cool Shit.
The myth of the $50,000 movie is the $50,000 movie is $300,000 movie.
Josh doesn't have $300,000.
Ask buddies who have money. All of them said no.
Did you see the few home runs? That's not you.
Irony point, they've got first money.
Is there enough money for the film?
We're still working on it.
Donnie is the Josh of this podcast. He's determined to make it happen no matter what.
We've given away all of the investor points.
We're still missing a quarter of our cast.
Last Rodeo Studios, at the last minute, gave us the money to get us where we are.
Hosted by Aaron Kheifets. This is Make Cool Shit.
There is a lot of work to do before shooting can actually start. They've got to do a tech scout of all the locations, pre-production planning, hiring a crew, and, finding an actor to play Bettina.
So we're going to go to Michaela Watkins from Casual. We need to hear soon because shoots in 2 weeks. So holy shit.
They don't have time to wait around for an answer. They've got to get moving on hiring crew. Making a movie on location is almost like building a small city and economy to support making that movie from scratch, temporarily, in a new place. It's kind of crazy. Luckily, Irony Point can help them with that.
Yeah, we brought in the production team.
Yeah.
The just like straight up logistics people. They were all people we've worked with.
That's Alex Bach. Now, hiring your crew maybe isn't the glitziest part of movie making, but it's pretty important. You hire a mediocre line producer, and that could ruin your whole damn movie.
Getting a crew together that jives is paramount. It's the make or break moment. If you do it right, everybody meshes together and great things result. If you get it wrong, it can quickly become the worst experience of your professional life.
That's Andrew Rhodes. He's the first hire on their production team.
We brought in the line producer, Andrew Rhodes.
Andrew Rhodes, he's Dan Powell's line producer on The Break with Michelle Wolf. And it's a fucking miracle that we got him. Like, he's a total dream.
According to the handbook, a line producer supervises the production and ensures it stays on schedule, prepares and manages the budget, and supervises hiring and business aspects of the production. The business aspects of production. That seems vague.
A line producer is the person on a film set who, they're the person who crushes dreams. We're the disappointing dose of reality in the face of all that creative genius and ambition, and making sure that everyone stays on target and gets something that, come post-production, can be assembled into a comprehensible movie that won't make the director hate you. And ideally, you do that on time and on budget so the producers don't hate you either.
One of his major responsibilities is hiring a lot of the crew. And Andrew's first hire is going to be his production manager, Jen Wilmeth. He's hiring her because they've been through the shit together, and he knows she can deliver.
Prior to Scare Me, I'd worked with her on Michael Moore's revival of TV Nation, which was supposed to air on TBS, but got canceled before we completed an episode because of people I'm not allowed to fault due to non-disclosures. So when I needed to start staffing up Scare Me, she was literally my first call.
It's one of those jobs where you always feel like you're treading just to like stay above water, particularly on an independent film. When you don't have the budget or resources to make it what people want it to be.
That's Jen Wilmeth, production supervisor.
A production supervisor has a very unenviable task. There's basically two parts to it. First, they're responsible for everything as seemingly small as making sure breakfast is on time, to as huge as making sure that not a single thing we do is unsafe or illegal, which is a lot harder than it sounds. And the second part, that is the curse of production, we're the fallback. If something that should be happening isn't happening, then production has to fix it. It's invariably the production supervisor who's responsible for that.
Yeah, someone that's like overly sensitive and really, cares way too much about what people think about them and doesn't have a thick skin would definitely make a bad production supervisor. I mean, you're there to support people, right?
A production supervisor is not as visible as they deserve to be. They aren't as appreciated as they ought to be, but they really are the wizard behind the curtain. And we had a great one in Jen Wilmeth. She's superhuman.
With Andrew as line producer and Jen as production manager, next up is the assistant directors. According to the handbook, the first assistant director, first AD, is responsible for keeping the shoot on schedule and maintains order on the set. The second AD manages call sheets and makes sure that actors are present when needed.
The ADs are the shepherds that keep them moving. If you don't do that, there just isn't a movie. And without them, a crew might show up to a location with their cameras, but then they'd all stand around like animals grazing in a field.
Together, Andrew, Jen, and the ADs are the key players in the production department. Their first AD, Lenny Payan, ends up having to drop out because of another gig. And he recommends a guy who often helps him out as second AD on commercial shoots, Jay Williams.
I'm an assistant director, yes. Almost union this week. AD's involved in making the schedule from the beginning of, the pre-production. I'm the only voice you should be hearing, unless the director decides he wants to say anything. So yeah, the drill sergeant.
So he's a drill sergeant?
Yes, drill sergeant! There's been a lot of last minute shit that's falling in place. It's like if it isn't a guild thing at the last minute for being like a super low budget project, making sure everything's above board, then it's a weather thing. If it's not a weather thing, it's do you have your final actress, like 25% of your cast is not locked in.
Jay Williams was one of those last minute things that fell into place.
Now, I come from the commercial world, so I usually work with Lenny, as a second. In this case, it was a movie. I mean, a script's a script, a breakdown's a breakdown, a schedule's a schedule, but it's my first feature as a first AD. It has to go well.
Everybody's got a lot on the line for this film, but Jay more than most. This is his first time being first AD on a feature. That's kind of a big deal. The second AD on this film, Jonathan Wu, has over 30 features to his name, and he'll be answering to Jay. It's not a small amount of pressure.
There's a totality to the production department. A lot of what we do, all of us, is invisible to everyone else. But if we mess up, even on something seemingly small, then there's a very quick domino effect, and it's not long before the production has to shut down. And you gotta adapt and be flexible and come up with plan B, and then plan C, and then plan D, plan E. And by the time you're around to plan X or Y or Z, you have something that's potentially realistic and achievable.
To stress test all those plans, all the department heads, lighting, camera, sound, production, go on something called a tech scout. According to the handbook, the crew is assembled and the locations, the sites where the movie will be shot, are scouted. Ideally, the producer, director, DP or cinematographer, assistant director, production designer, sound person, and other team members will scout each location to determine the direction and art direction, lighting, cameras and lenses, sound, and overall logistics. Woo! That's a lot. The tech scout is basically looking up at a mountain and being like, I'm gonna summit this motherfucker. It's scary and exciting. They have to go over everything they're going to do in the actual locations they're gonna be shot in to make sure that the things they thought were doable are actually going to be doable. But on top of that, they get some bad news.
All right, so we shoot in like 6 days, and Michaela Watkins passed. Now it's getting down to the wire where we need to make some serious fucking decisions. That's movie making, baby. Help.
So Alex Bornstein's not doing it. Michaela Watkins is not doing it. That's bad. But they don't have time to worry about that. On with a tech scout, I guess.
For a team coming from New York, a lot of the conveniences we take for granted just aren't available in a place like Woodstock. It's too remote. It just makes the pre-planning all that more vital for all the departments. And you want to know what isn't going to work, where the problems are going to be. It's the first time most people are seeing these locations, and so suddenly the reality hits, and it hits hard. The space is too small, it's too noisy, it doesn't look right, it's not what the script calls for. Tech scouts never go well.
When we come back from the break, our first venture into Woodstock, New York, the tech scout, which apparently never goes well. This should be fun. Scare Me has basically 3 locations. A cabin, where Fanny and Fred tell each other the scary stories, some exteriors around Woodstock, and a soundstage. They're shooting on a soundstage for one really ambitious shot, where we go inside one of Fanny's scary stories, a demonic song and dance sequence, and really bring it to life. The first stop on their tech scout is that soundstage, Woodstock Studios.
Hello. Hey, Andrew?
Yes.
What up, Donnie?
Thank you for letting us drop by.
I'm
sorry. You're the podcast people. I'm mentally catching up.
How was the trip up?
It was great. It was productive after we all caffeinated.
Nice.
That's always the key.
Did we miss any drama on the way up?
No drama. No. It's
Cat fights?
No cat fights.
That's Donnie Dykowski, producer of this podcast. To paint a picture, it's January in Woodstock, New York. It's 10 degrees outside. Donnie is wearing a cumbersome winter coat and headphones, shouldering a backpack full of field recording gear with a microphone in hand. He's hunting for drama on set.
I'm a pretty big dude in a big coat. And I guess I can be a bit scary because I've got this I know what you did last summer kind of vibe. And that's fucking creepy. So nobody wants to talk to me.
First location. Oh boy. We let ourselves in.
It was locked?
It was locked.
Closed? Okay. I saw you picking a lock earlier. Also.
That's my job. Amongst many things.
Production supervisor is one of those titles that, sometimes means different things. Sometimes it means supervising the production. Other times it means breaking into a building.
No one was there. The lights weren't on. The doors were locked. And the next thing you know, she's she's climbing this doorway and comes down with a hideaway key. It's this huge, empty warehouse of a soundstage, pitch black building, and I have no clue if we've tripped the silent alarms and cops are on the way or whatnot. Typical day in production.
The toilets wouldn't flush over there, so Josh left a little surprise for...
Yeah, they only have the heat and water on, I guess, when people are there.
As mentioned earlier, it's cold in Woodstock. Pipes are beginning to freeze.
The true tech scout. You have to take what's in your brain and you have to express. We're going to dress one of these window displays to be all books, and my DP, Brennan, is just mapping out what feels best for him. It's a 3-page walking scene that we follow in a 2-shot, so it's a nice oneer that lands in a profile.
What's up?
We're going to lunch after this, correct?
Yeah.
That's Jay Williams doing his job as first AD, making sure people stay on schedule and get fed. And on the Scout, they're going to get fed by Josh's mom.
Let's get there early.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Oh, you want to get there early?
Yeah.
Save me some pie, guys?
Yeah.
According to the handbook, it's important to schedule meal breaks every 6 hours and have plenty of drinks and snacks available at all times. That's called craft services, and for the Tech Scout, Josh's mom is graciously playing that role.
Hi, Bobby.
Hi, Mom.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
You go see the house?
We're going right after this.
Oh, okay.
Josh's mom is talking about the cabin, the main location where 80% of the film takes place.
No other situation does your writer's mom make you lunch. It doesn't happen in TV.
That's Des Savini, production assistant, or PA. According to the handbook, production assistants, herein referred to as PAs, are low-paid gophers, go for this, go for that, who do all sorts of underappreciated tasks. Woof! That is rough. The handbook itself says that these people are low-paid and underappreciated. Like, that's the way it's meant to happen. That sucks.
What qualified you to be driving the van?
I interned at the Late Show and had a lot of production internships in college, but it was me driving vans got me most of my gigs. And I want to be a writer too, comedy, sketches. I'm only 22. This is good.
People have got film jobs with fewer relevant qualifications than knowing how to drive a van.
My dad was saying Sunday could be so bad for the roads they might close the freeway.
Josh is concerned because shooting hasn't even started yet, and they're already having trouble with the weather.
Thank you.
You'll be back.
Okay.
Snowing now.
What'd you leave?
Yep.
That's okay. I have a wash.
Good call. Good call.
As we leave Josh's mom's house, we head to a lake location to discuss both shots and safety.
This is sort of at the tail end of a running montage. So there's a sort of big establishing red running we're hoping to land, but that involves a follow car. We'll figure that out later.
Josh is just out for a run, or his character is anyway, but there's a follow car, and there are large, heavy pieces of equipment strapped to that follow car. You gotta have a safety talk.
Safety, there'll definitely be PAs and safety vests and all
And
that, yeah.
Are you holding traffic? What's the plan?
We will hold traffic with PAs.
We don't own this road.
They're figuring out how they're gonna get the shots that they need in this location. Specifically, whether or not they need to shut down this road. Sounds like a job for a PA, like Des.
We are at a cabin in the middle of Bearsville, New York. From a New York City perspective, the boondocks.
Very middle of nowhere, very remote. Perfect setting for a horror movie, though.
How did you find the location?
Josh actually found it. He saw the pictures on Instagram, and it's an Airbnb rental, I think. So he reached out and pitched the project and made a deal. Fits the script beautifully.
We have that shot where Bettina brakes on the road, that kind of Lebowski wide. She turns onto Fred's Drive.
I think it's going awesome with both all of the lines, all the way down the shot list.
That's Brendan Banks. If you remember, he's our cinematographer.
Honestly, the wolf reveal, like up on the landing with that shadow, I'm like very excited to figure out and make sure that we kind of nail. Because I think that's going to be the first time people are like, oh, okay.
What is it, Fanny? It's a fucking werewolf, a big werewolf! And then there's this big back and forth. This whole story is about how she's bringing him out of his comfort zone. You know, she's bringing him out of his skin. So the two of them are sitting on the floor, they're doing cocaine. You've never done coke?
This is that moment in America's Got Talent, Idol, whatever. You know, when they cut to them, they're like, how are you feeling just before you're gonna go out there? Like, what's that gonna feel like? This is her going,
One important thing, it's a ridiculous shot, is a POV of Fanny barfing all over an audience in the cabin. I really like something low in here, embracing the shadows. This is so helpful for me too, to just get into it as a performer and a director. Is like, oh yeah, I have to step my game up for this. And also, I'm getting to know some people that I haven't worked with before, and I'm contributing ideas that are dope.
Josh sounds psyched. He's one step closer to making his movie. He's actually in the place where they're gonna do it. He is having fun. He's starting to see how this is all gonna come together. His little script that he spat out in 3 days is about to have dozens of top-notch professionals take this place over and make it come to life. Little details are coming out of the woodwork from the gaffer and from his DP and from the art department that are all helping make his thing more real, more detailed, more textured, better. That's exciting. Josh is in his element.
Once everyone's out, Jen and I need to do a walkthrough of here, because if we don't leave it precisely the way that we found it, then she may not sign the contract.
Copy that. You do a double check there.
Can't piss off the location owner until I have her John Hancock.
I'll say that out loud.
I'm not gonna.
All right.
Except to the podcaster.
You guys call all that. Always call all that. You're always in the wrong place at the right time.
When they get back, Josh meets with one of the most important departments not on the Tech Scout, wardrobe.
Hi, I'm Sean Dermond. I'm the costume designer on the film here. I've known Josh for a while at College Humor since, I think, 2012, 2011.
According to the handbook, a character's wardrobe speaks volumes before the actor says a line. Yeah, if you put James Bond in jeans and a hoodie, that's a different movie. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's just what the Bourne Identity is.
The first look, we're doing a little homage to Beetlejuice. So we got this buffalo plaid shirt that's almost the exact one that Alec Baldwin wears in Beetlejuice.
1998's Beetlejuice, directed by Tim Burton, is a horror comedy cult classic. Of course Josh and Sean love it. I love it. I was like raised on this movie. So when Josh is making his horror comedy debut film, he's gonna want to put some Easter eggs in there.
I love this coat.
And it feels a little bit LA-ish.
Yeah.
Tan. Stand right against the wall and the light there. And let's just open it. Let's just see what it looks like. Cool. Let's just take the jacket off. Let's keep the pants on. And we got the coat for Carlo, and it's the Overlook Mountain Pizza Company. And then we put I put a little Shining reference in there. And
oh yes, please.
Since we have Overlook Mountain, it's the Overlook Mountain Pizza Company at 237 Sidewinder Road.
Whoa!
Woodstock, New York, and at the bottom it says "Tell them Jack sent you."
Oh man,
little Easter egg, and I made sure that was in a smaller font too, so it's never gonna be right in anyone's face.
An Easter egg is a hidden reference or clue or inside joke placed in a film. So Overlook Mountain Pizza Company, Sidewinder Road, and Tell 'em Jack Sent Ya are all Easter eggs referencing The Shining. This is exactly why Josh picked Sean to be his costume designer. Sean is funny and smart and has a lot of finesse to him. So when he puts these Easter eggs in, they're not right up in your face. He makes sure of that. Our next phase of pre-production is a formal production meeting back at Irony Point headquarters in New York.
The point of the production meeting, it's less about discussing different options of how to tackle things and more about just ensuring that everyone is finally on the same page. By having the production meeting, by going through the schedule beat by beat, scene by scene, you know for a fact that every department head has walked through it at least once, and they know the plan, no excuses. So if the meeting goes bad, then you probably aren't ready to start shooting the following week.
This is Andrew LP. Welcome to Scare Me. I just wanted to say thank you all for hopping aboard. Really appreciate all the work that's been put in thus far, and all the work that lay ahead. We're gonna go through this thing line by line and come up with our game plan.
In pre-production, it's all about finding a way to most efficiently utilize our resources. You work with all the department heads and the production team to come up with the best possible plan, and then you march into production to shoot it, and inevitably it all goes straight to shit.
That game plan is a complex schedule of who needs to be where when that takes into account all kinds of stuff. Actor availability, lodging, safety, weather. Not only does all the gear have to be where it needs to be when it needs to be there, but all the people running the gear need to be cared for, fed, housed, and organized. The AD handling this is Jonathan Wu.
Once we go through the schedule, production can talk about logistics and accommodations and travel and all that stuff. Keep, everything on a professional level, tolerate drug use, alcohol use on set, sexual harassment. Diving into day one, this day is a 6 a.m. call. Scene 1, driving.
This is Josh. We're gonna try and make it feel like spring, unless there's 6 feet of snow.
Good luck.
Yeah, right. I never need them to do dialogue when playback's occurring. We have a Bose at my mommy and my daddy's house.
We're gonna be wheels up at about 3 p.m. on Monday. Get us into Woodstock just around 5 p.m. And we're gonna head straight to Josh Rubin's house for, as he puts it, his mommy and daddy's home cooking.
Correct.
We're gonna have a kickoff dinner.
And we just got SAG clearance.
Yeah.
Literally everything.
The last fucking minute.
And at that production meeting, we finally get a piece of long overdue news.
We locked in an actress today, the Friday before the Tuesday we shoot.
Becky Drysdale in the featured role of Bettina is just someone we've worked with a lot. She actually co-wrote our first film, Bex. And she's just a great character actress and comedic actress.
She's brilliant. She wrote 50 some odd episodes of Key and Peele.
We were in such a rush. Becky was very cool about kind of coming at the last minute, making herself available for those days.
They find the perfect person, Becky Drysdale. She's been on Orange is the New Black, Baskets, High Maintenance. She's been the head writer of Key and Peele, and then more recently, The Tonight Show. She is a dream get for this production. It's happening. Nothing can stop them now.
There is a storm that has begun and threatens to get worse.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo issued a state of emergency.
Please don't get on the road. The driving is very difficult and in some cases dangerous.
Parts of the Catskills getting as much as 2 feet of snow. Ice will also be a major concern for most of our areas.
Complicating this situation is the polar vortex.
The polar vortex is really just a big counterclockwise swirl, a big circulation, a big cyclone up in the Arctic. And sometimes a piece of that polar vortex breaks off. This is dangerous cold weather.
It was just 4 degrees when we shot this morning with a wind chill of more than 12 below. Other parts of the area felt like negative 30. The frigid temperatures causing water main breaks.
What we mean by dangerously cold weather, what are we talking about?
Frostbite in 5 minutes or less if you expose your skin.
So snowfall is one thing. Sub-zero temperatures is nothing to be trifled with.
Oh, crap.